At 34 years old, Sergio Perez arguably has everything going for him. He's racing for one of the biggest teams in the sport, Red Bull Racing, and yet word on the street is his career might come to an unexpected end and that he's finally retiring from the sport. But didn't he just sign a 2-year extension with Red Bull earlier this year? So what's all this talk about possible retirement by the end of the season? Let's find out. Sergio Perez, also known as Checo, just secured a 2-year contract extension with Red Bull this summer, making it seem like his future with the team was rock solid. But the thing is, this extension is not a typical no questions asked deal. It's a 1+1 contract. What does that mean? Simply put, it gives Red Bull the option to pull the plug after just 1 year, which means Checo's seat is not as secure as it may seem. This whole setup already raises eyebrows. Red Bull's famous for their ruthless driver swaps. Just ask Pierre Gasly, Alex Albon, or even more recently, Daniel Ricciardo with the VCARB team. These are drivers who were once on the main team but got booted when things didn't go as planned. So even with this shiny new contract, Checo's position is far from guaranteed. Now, this is where things get messy. Checo has been playing second fiddle to his teammate Max Verstappen, the 3-time world champion, and honestly, who wouldn't struggle alongside Max? Max has absolutely been dominating since Checo arrived at Red Bull, leaving him quite literally in the dust. There's been too much of a performance gap between the two, and this has led to growing rumors about Perez not being able to keep up. Sure, Checo has had some good moments this season, but in F1, good's not going to cut it, especially when you're driving for a team like Red Bull. You need consistency, and Perez has sadly been lacking it. With Max over the last few years continuously getting podium finishes and top 10s scoring points, Red Bull might be wondering if they can afford a second driver who's not going to deliver. And we don't even have to get started on McLaren's recent rise. With them overtaking Red Bull in the constructor standings, the pressure is on more than ever for Checo to boost his performance. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, those persistent retirement rumors. It all started after a string of disappointing performances which led to speculation that Checo may retire from the sport, particularly during his home Grand Prix in Mexico later this year. Some sources even suggest Red Bull's been nudging him towards retirement to save face rather than outright firing him. And honestly, can you blame them? Firing him outright might not sit well with fans, especially considering how important Checo is to Red Bull's market in the Americas. Just look at the backlash VCARB got after cutting Daniel Ricciardo with a very lackluster send-off. Now, we are expecting that Checo would announce his retirement in front of his home crowd on his terms rather than being pushed out. It would be a good PR decision that could work out nicely for everyone involved. The gentle exit, as some have called it, would protect both Checo's reputation and Red Bull's. Naturally, until now, everyone has been speculating and coming up with their own theories, but it turns out Checo's had enough. How does he feel about all this? Well, in classic Checo style, Perez is laughing it off. When the rumors started flying, he took to social media and made light of the situation. He posted a clip from The Wolf of Wall Street where Leonardo DiCaprio's character declares, "I'm not leaving." But apart from the humor, there's a lot more going on, and we can sense it. Perez has admitted that the season has been tough. He's spoken openly about the challenges of racing a car that's designed to suit Max's driving style as something he struggled to adapt to. And with Red Bull focusing on Max's championship run, we're not surprised that Checo feels like he's in a tricky spot. Despite all the talk, Perez insists that he's not ready to hang up his helmet just yet. He's determined to stay in F1 for at least 2 more years, even though he has hinted that he might not stick around for much longer after that. At 34 years old, with young children waiting for him at home, we understand that Perez is thinking about his long-term future. But he is also adamant that he will leave F1 on his terms, not because someone is pushing him out. But the interesting twist to note here is that Red Bull is not exactly known for being patient. If Checo can't close the performance gap soon, will they really wait for him to improve? Red Bull has a long line of young, hungry drivers waiting in the wings. Liam Lawson, who's been impressive in F1's feeder series, is one name that's been talked about. And don't forget the possibility of the team looking outside their pool for someone like a George Russell, whose contract with Mercedes is up soon. So the question is not just about whether Checo wants to retire, we also have to consider whether Red Bull will let him stay long enough to make that decision himself. What do you think is going to happen to Checo's future? Let me know in the comments below. And before you go, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that little bell if you want to stay updated. Thanks for watching.